Welcome to Meet the Candidate, and this time we're meeting one of the statewide candidates. And welcome to Dick Muri, who is running for Lieutenant Governor. Glad to have you on.
Good to see you.
Yeah. So this is just a get acquainted conversation, starting with tell me about where you grew up and went to school.
Well, I was born in Alaska, but I grew up in Massachusetts. High school outside of Boston. The marathon starts, and the marathon. And went to University of Massachusetts Amherst, got a degree in public health. But I joined ROTC my sophomore year, end of my sophomore year, and left Massachusetts, which I never thought I would do, and went into the Air Force and spent 22 years. Fortunately, I got stationed at McCord Air Force Base, applied to C-141, met a local girl, fell in love, made a career in the military, which I never expected to do, retired as a lieutenant colonel, 4 kids, 11 grandchildren. And then I settled here in the little town of Steilacoom, which if you've ever been here, it's the oldest municipality in the state of Washington. Looks a little bit like a little seaside New England town. One reason I moved here, right outside of McCord Air Force Base. And I got involved in my kids' schools. And next thing you know, I was getting ready to retire, and the consensus of the school district was that Dick Muri should be on the school board. And I go, well, how much does that pay? And I go, nothing. He goes, oh, great. Retire and make no money. But I did that for 7 years, which got me then into the run for Pierce County Council. And I got elected. I did that for 9 years, term limited. And then in 2012, I did the audacious thing and ran for Congress against Denny Heck, who was also running for lieutenant governor in the new 10th district. And it was a pretty Democrat district, but I gave a good showing and came close, but Denny Heck won. And I retired from politics in 2012. So 2013, finding my own business in Arizona, a little time in Hawaii, and then here in the 28th district, our senator died. The House member became the senator, and I got appointed to be the House member. So I was back in the saddle again. And I got appointed, and I got elected twice, and then retired in 2018. I've been retired now for a year and a half, 66 years of age, and about a month ago, I got all these calls about, Dick, we have all these Republican candidates for lieutenant governor. None of them have ever been elected to office. None of them have ever served. They've run many times before. Running for office is a great thing to do, but losing is not a good virtue. So they said, Dick, you have all 4 corners. You got military, federal, you got local, school board, you got municipal, county council, you got legislator, representative, and so you're the most qualified. You're most qualified of the Republicans, and you're actually more qualified than any of the Democrats. So please put your name in, and so I did. And now here I'm running another campaign for first time statewide office.
Okay. Well, so there is a first time in there. It's the statewide part.
Yeah, so, that's a challenge because this is really Eastern Washington is a real challenge because especially in traveling and especially in today's pandemic.
Right, we're all on some travel restrictions, and that's why this year we've worked to expand our ability to bring candidates in online in a virtual interview. Well, you jumped ahead and answered the question about what prompted you to run for public office. So I'm going to back you up a second. What was the first job you had, and what did you learn from that experience?
Well, the first job I had, starting at age 12, I was a paper boy. And, back in Massachusetts, I made a lot of money in the winter shoveling snow. And then in the summertime, I was painting homes at age 14, 15. And then when I became really old and I turned 16, I worked at a restaurant called Friendly Ice Cream. It's kind of like a Denny's. And I became a dishwasher and then eventually a shift supervisor. And, became an assistant manager. And in fact, I almost didn't go to college because Friendly Ice Cream Corporation wanted me to become one of their, the guy who ran the store, he drove a Porsche, and I kind of like, ooh, that looks cool. But then UMass Amherst kind of called me the wrestling coach, since I was the state runner-up, and the guy who beat me for the state championship didn't have the grades or the SAT scores to get into UMass Amherst. So the coach begged me to come to UMass Amherst, and I said, oh, okay, I'll go to college and have some fun and that kind of stuff, instead of going into the corporate or the work world. So I went to college because I wanted to wrestle, and that's interesting. Wrestling became part of my life. I coached, and I actually got inducted 2 years ago into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. So
Wow.
I've been working in the sport of wrestling for 45, 50 years. So,
Was that one of the ways you were involved with your children's schools, was coaching?
oh yeah, I was a wrestling coach. Yeah, so used to be 126, 134 pounds. Now I'm fighting 184 pounds.
That still sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
So, what were some of your duty assignments as in the Air Force? Did that take you around the world, or was it mostly domestic?
It did. I flew the C-141 all over the world, been to about 45 different countries, flying airlift cargo missions. But then I got stationed in Incirlik Air Force Base in Turkey in 1989, and it was kind of a dead-end job. I was a major, no chances of making lieutenant colonel in that job. Sure enough, the first 13 months were boring. We had a lot of fun. We went to the beach every weekend. Southwest Turkey is a beautiful place to be. It's California without all the expense. And then August 2nd, 1990, the world changed when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, and Desert Shield kicked off, and then Desert Storm, and then Provide Comfort. So I got involved in as deputy commander for airlift operations there for Turkey. Largest non-combatant evacuation order in our history. I got the lead, and I got a lot of kudos for that. My wife and 4 kids, 24 hours. I got 2,300 dependents out. And then after the war ended, we had a thing called Operation Provide Comfort, and that was the relief supplies to the Kurds. I remember getting at that time with a top secret message from President Bush ordering me within 24 hours to start airlifting relief supplies to the Kurds. And, long story short, I made it happen, and eventually got promoted to lieutenant colonel out of that. So, and then I got stationed back at Fort Air Force Base, where I became the chief of quality management. I was the chief navigator for a while, and award-winning quality TQ. Remember the TQM days, total quality management, process improvement. So I learned a lot in those 5 years about how to run organizations and make them better. So I think that was a great way to finish my military career. 22 years in the Air Force, 14 of those years were at Fort Air Force Base, so it was kind of nice on my family. 5 years in California and 2 years in Turkey. So, great experience. The military changed my life, made me who I am today.
You know, we have a lot of veterans who are running, and a lot of Air Force veterans that I've talked to this morning. One of the other questions I like to ask, especially for some of the statewide offices, because voters don't know exactly what they do, is could you describe the top 2 or 3 responsibilities of the lieutenant governor?
Well, the one responsibility that you have to be prepared for, and it rarely happens, in fact, I don't think it's ever happened in the state of Washington, something happens to the governor, he or she resigns, or is out of the country. You have to take over as governor. But the main thing is you're the president of just like the vice president of the United States, you're the president of the Senate, and you run the Senate proceedings, you run the Rules Committee. If there is a tie vote in the Senate, you get the vote and break the tie. And basically, you're a legislator in the Senate. So you should. I think almost every lieutenant governor in the past has been a former state legislator. I think that's kind of almost a key requirement that you had. I was a legislator in the House for 6 years. That's important that you have experience in how the legislative process works. The only one who, I think, two of the Democrats running are the current legislator or former legislators.
Okay. Well, this is the last wrap-up question is to you for a 30-second, 1-minute elevator speech of why should people vote for Dick Muri for Lieutenant Governor?
Well, I have 45 years of experience, unblemished, and very successful, whether it's very successful 22 years in the military, my 7 years on the school board. I have a lot of great things that went on, not only building schools, but putting the first Washington Virtual Academy online schooling, which we did in our school. And on the county council, I passed a lot of great legislation, including reforms to our charter, and then my legislative experience in the House for 6 years. So I have all four corners. I got federal military, I got local schools, I got municipal, and I got state. I'm by far the most experienced candidate. And even though I'm 66 years of age, I think I still got a lot of energy, a lot of vigor, and I think I could serve successfully for 4 years as Lieutenant Governor. And I hope to hear your vote.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today, Dick, and good luck on your run.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
90 million Christians are eligible to vote.
40 million didn't.
That's 45% of eligible Christians not voting.
We can change that.
We believe We Vote was designed to arm people of faith with information on candidates
And how they line up with biblical and constitutional principles.
It's simply WeBelieveWeVote.com.
We're on a mission to rev up the 2020 election.
Tell your friends, your neighbors, and especially your pastors to rev up.
Be an educated voter.
Arm yourself with truth based on the Word of God.
2020, rev up.
Register, educate, vote.
Rev up.
Rev up.
Rev up 2020.